Hello everyone, welcome. I'm excited about today's show because we're going to look at Jupiter retrograde, which began April 10th and continues through August 11th. But this year it has an especially potent impact on us, even though Jupiter retrograde once a year. And that's because Jupiter is in its own home sign of Sagittarius, and that won't happen again for 12 years. Furthermore, Jupiter changed directions at 24 degrees, which is the number of love and abundance. And thirdly, Jupiter is square to Neptune all year long. So we're going to dive into that as well, since that has a big impact on the retrograde this year. And Neptune itself is almost the planet of the year because it forms two long-term transits to both Saturn and Jupiter in 2019. So this is going to be a big Jupiter episode with a little Neptune sprinkled in. And of course, I'm going to share some powerful tips on how to leverage the star codes so you can use them in your personal and professional life. And that's what we're going to cover today. So Jupiter is the planet that expands prosperity, enhances opportunities, connects to your higher mind, and connects that higher mind to the wisdom, the divine wisdom, the wisdom of the ages. So Jupiter really is all about expansion, and what you're expanding specifically is your potential. Your potential, your gifts, your purpose, your destiny. This is actually what's revealed when you're born, when you take your first breath, that birthday, that birth name, that birth code, that astrology code, that star code is your potential wrapped up into your own personal blueprint. And so it's actually the perfect time for you to go discover that blueprint. You can just go to the free class at starcodeclass.com, and that's when you'll discover who you are at soul level and what your potential is, right? What your birth promise says about you. So Jupiter retrograde this year is in its own sign of Sagittarius, and Jupiter is square Neptune all year long. So let's look at Jupiter first, because this is so tuned into whether you're open to expand to begin with. What are you expanding, right? Think of yourself as a being of light, which is what you are. We all come from the stars. So you're a being of light pulsating with energetic potential, and that potential has not been born as yet, because that's why it's potential, right? So this year, while Jupiter is in retrograde in its own sign of Sagittarius, like I said, every 12 years is when this happens, so it's a big deal when it does. You're awakening to gifts that may have been lying dormant and unconscious in your life up until now. In fact, we all are. So when Jupiter is in retrograde, it enhances your ability to awaken your soul contracts with great confidence and courage. Jupiter gives you that confidence because Jupiter is jovial and Jupiter is fearless, and Jupiter wants you to go for it. So you become aware of your gifts and your capabilities. You literally see your potential. And guess what? Next year, big hint, preview here, 2020 is the year of perfect vision. So you are being primed this year to go to the spiritual optometrist, per se, and adjust your eyes, adjust your vision to see clearly so that you can see your potential. This is so important, because otherwise, what do you have to live for if it's not to fulfill what you love to do, right? What makes you feel like you're being of service of some kind. So Jupiter in Sagittarius, especially while in retrograde motion, gets your soul inspired to move forward in your alignment with your soul contracts for this lifetime. And that's because a retrograde, any planet in retrograde, lets you look within. So that's where the inspiration comes from. You're not being impacted from outside events. You're really tuning in to what you feel is appropriate, what you intuit as being the right direction to go. So it's a fantastic time to gain deeper insights into spiritual matters to begin with, since divine wisdom can flow easier from this superconscious and this subconscious right now and brought into conscious awareness while Jupiter is retrograde. So this retrograde urges you to discover the underlying truth about matters that are currently unfolding in your life. So current events, decisions, situations that you find yourself in personally and professionally, this is where you get the aha moments of the underlying truth behind them. How are you applying your gifts in a proactive way to uncover the healing and the facts as they appear in your life now? How are you creating a positive reframe? Reframing is really the key that is keeping you in touch with divine wisdom. Because when you look at something just from the perspective of having experienced it before or having some previous understanding of it, you're coming to it from past experience. And so we have to constantly be looking at how we can reframe everything and be proactive, be positive. And this is what Jupiter specializes in, is that positive reframe. So that means that you can stay in the flow because you're always looking at things in a fresh, new way. And staying in the flow is the key to fulfillment. It's the key to greatness. It's the key to being indispensable and irreplaceable. And we're going to go into that in a bit. So that flow is the communication between the superconscious and the subconscious coming into your conscious mind, meaning you are now aware of it. You're waking up to it. So this begins with an acute attention on what makes you happy. Jupiter is about joy. Jupiter is the awakening of happiness within you. What stirs you to the point where you just are losing track of time? You are so engaged with this hobby, with this endeavor, that you could do it all day. You forget to eat. You forget even things that you were supposed to do, right? Because you are so happily engaged. And so that means there is no time. You're living in timelessness. You have transcended the human experience and made it a divine experience. And that is Jupiter at its highest level. It's the awakening of that illumination, that fulfillment, that joy. So you need to know and understand your soul level gifts, what makes you happy to be of service, to fulfill you and serve others. That is Jupiter's domain. So think about it. Where are you placing your acute attention? Where are you spending your time? Are you always asking, does this bring me inner peace? So when you're online searching for something and lose track because you're being distracted, that's not being acutely aware. That's being taken away from what really should be waking you up, which is it bringing me inner peace? Or is it just entertaining me, taking me to a place where I just don't have to deal with stuff? I can just get into other people's stuff. I can read what other people think. I can get into their life. This is all like all over the place now, is this information age of mostly, well, I shouldn't say mostly, but a lot of it is pretty useless. There is useful information, of course, but useful meaning it fills you up. It's full. Useless, it's lessening your energy. So think of those words too. They really give you a cue on, what that inner peace really is. Are you waking up? Do you feel awakened? Do you feel aware? Are you having that soul-inspired wake-up call, right? Have you set the dial to the channel of inspired wisdom, of happiness? It's now playing. Whatever dial you've chosen to set your energy on, your attention on, is playing no matter what. So you might as well put it on the dial of inspired wisdom, which is really what Jupiter is all about. The inspiration that enlightens you and inspires you and fulfills you. And if you put your dial there, you will see your potential in living color. I promise you, you will. You will have the visions. You will receive the dreams, because Jupiter expands what you put your focus on. So if your focus is on abundance, Jupiter will expand that. If it's on creating opportunities in your career, Jupiter will expand that. If it is on enhancing love, Jupiter will expand that. And because the retrograde began at 24 degrees, it especially activates love and abundance. And so with Jupiter's blessings happening this time around in its own sign of Sagittarius, it magnifies the good fortune as well. So, and when you add in the number 24, which also represents the 24 hours of the day, it literally signifies how you use those 24 hours. I know you're sleeping around 8 of those hours, but even your sleep is impacted by what you did during the other 16 hours when you're in a waking state. Are you in an awakened state, or are you asleep at the wheel? Your 8 hours of sleep will also keep fueling that same potential that you've either explored or not explored, right? So, and then 24 reduces to 6, which is all about beauty, love, abundance, pleasure, nurturing. It's the parent-mother principle, and it enriches your life with love. And love is really the highest vibration we have. And so 6 also represents abundance, because it is about giving birth. It is about creation. And that's what abundance is, right? Is creating wealth. So Jupiter is connected to this successful living, this well-being, this integration of your higher and lower mind for fortunate outcomes. And so you can see how the impact of this particular Jupiter retrograde is really big, because happening in its own sign, it's a true blessing, but also because it's such an enhancement of potential, being really a double Sagittarius impact here. And you can translate so easily that potential into new developments now. So the area of life that these magnifications take place in is described by the house of your natal astrology chart. So wherever Jupiter is retrograding right now in Sagittarius will be described, the specific area of your life, when we look at your astrology birth chart. And this is one reason why knowing your own astrology chart, your star code, and your children's family members, colleagues, if you can get their birth info, is so important, because it gives you not only the info and intel on who you are at soul level, but what you're designed to do, right? And it also allows you to see the current storylines, the current personal cycles unfold, just like this Jupiter retrograde. Where is it happening? We have 12 houses in your chart. It's happening in one of those 12, and they all have a different meaning. So you want to know what is being expanded and enhanced, and where your potential is specifically being raised right now, right? So make sure you check that free class at starcodeclass.com, because it will give you and show you how to even get your chart, how to start interpreting the star codes of your birth code. Now, the question becomes, how can you consciously engage with Jupiter's wisdom, joy, expansion, fortune, abundance, and discover the keys to your currently unfolding potential, right? How can you see and use the Jupiter retrograde momentum and expand and enrich your life in a fulfilling way? So the importance here is to focus on, how are you being irreplaceable? Your expectations for yourself and for your life are self-fulfilling prophecies. And Jupiter is connected to prophecies. Okay, so Jupiter is reminding you that what you intend shapes what you become. What you intend shapes what you become. So make a commitment today to be irreplaceable in whatever way that means, right? Live your life completely engaged, full out, and make the vow to be brilliant in your chosen work, your chosen career. Devote your energy to taking positive risks to grow into your potential. You need to take those risks, right? Jupiter is about growth and expansion, so you can't grow without taking risks, and you want to grow into that potential. Your potential is your actual greatness. That's what it is. And that can mean many things. It can mean enjoying life and loving like there's no tomorrow. It can mean enjoying every moment of the day as if it's the only moment, right? So seeing your life as a fabulous opportunity at all times, as a fun adventure at all times. And that means you understand that there will be moments of loss and pain that balance out the moments of highs and positive successes and blissful moments. But every moment is a precious moment. Remember, this is a reframe here. You have to reframe it all. Make that lemonade out of the lemons, because every part of your life, no matter what it is that you're experiencing and creating, is a gorgeous opportunity for growth and for expansion. So everything is designed by you with your best interests in mind. So embrace it all. Your potential will grow when you live your life with positive expectations. There is no doubt about it. So remember that your expectations are self-fulfilling prophecies. Show up to the most important date with destiny. Show up now. Jupiter is designed to make you conscious of your destiny, your potential, right? That is your destiny. So again, it's the perfect time to know your destiny. And you can discover it from your birth certificate name number. You just add it up, super easy. I show it to you in starcodeclass.com. You want to know what your destiny is. Your destiny also describes your career environment. So go to starcodeclass.com for that free masterclass. So here is the big takeaway on how to leverage Jupiter while it's retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius. Now, remember I mentioned Jupiter and Neptune, and that Neptune is making contact with Jupiter all year long. And the second of 3 meetings actually happens in mid-June. So it's coming up. It's, like I said, it's active all year long. But this square in June is the middle moment. So it is a very important turning point to understanding this connection with Neptune. And that's where the takeaway really happens, because both Jupiter and Neptune are in their respective home signs for this powerful square. And this is so rare. I mean, it takes Neptune approximately 156 years, give and take a few years, to go around the zodiac. And it takes Jupiter 12 years. And so to make this alignment where they're both in their home signs, we have 12 signs, of course, that's rare. So there's a lot of rare astronumerology happening in human history right now, if you include that big event in Capricorn that I bring up a lot. In fact, Saturn, speaking of Capricorn, Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. Saturn is currently in its own sign of Capricorn. Saturn takes approximately 28 to 30 years to go around the zodiac, and Saturn is making contact with Neptune this year. Saturn's in a sextile that's lasting all year. And the chances of all 3 planets being in their home signs with all these different journeys lasting 156 years, 12 years, and 28 to 30 years around the sun, all being in their home signs at the same time now, is really quite astounding. So the takeaway. So Neptune square Jupiter. So this enhances everything that is soul-centered and spiritual. That is what's coming to the forefront and being expanded, is tuning into your soul code, tuning into who you are at soul level. So what will happen when you do that? Well, it will strip old beliefs and previous ideas about a lot of subject matters. It could be deep subject matters like religion and political beliefs, and it really touches on philosophy in such a deep way. Jupiter rules philosophy and Neptune spirituality. So when they come into a square, you're being urged to even have a change in what you put your faith into, right? So you want to do something about the discoveries that you're currently experiencing and making. You're in the middle of them. And so since you're still going through this cycle, we all are, you want to guard against being in denial when you make a discovery, or avoiding the wisdom, the truth, when you uncover it, right? Whether it's about yourself or something else, you don't want to be in denial about it, because that will set you back. The other thing you want to really be careful of is rushing to conclusions. So sit with it. Neptune wants you to be patient and just feel it out, intuit it. Even once you get that insight, you want to let it assimilate and use that beautiful soul inspiration energy for positive, life-affirming, creative endeavors. Creativity is so accentuated when Neptune and Jupiter come together, because Jupiter's expanding Neptune's creativity and love, and understanding that we're all in this together, and everything that you do has a ripple effect to everything else, whether it's on Earth or beyond Earth, galactically, right? So Neptune is love. It wants you to love your life into reality. It's unconditional love. It's compassion. And Jupiter wants you to love with joy, to use joy as a driver. Joy is your driving force. Joy is your conductor. Joy is what, if you're a fairy and you have fairy dust, it is joy that you are sprinkling everywhere, right? This is Jupiter's message all year long. So listen to what inspires you, what fires up your imagination, right? That beautiful, sunny, gorgeous reframe of everything that you're experiencing now. Use humor. I forgot to mention that. Humor makes us laugh, and laughter is the whole building block that joy is founded upon. So the more you laugh and the more you listen and act on what inspires you and fulfills you, the more centered and grounded and at peace you'll feel. So one question to ask yourself is, what does this bring me peace? Does this bring me peace of mind? Does this make me happy? So use these as guideposts, right? Because now you're poised to empower your potential. Now you know what it is you need to focus on. All right. So I'm really excited about this Jupiter retrograde, as you can see, in its own sign. I'm so excited it's making contact to Neptune, the planet that is shifting spiritual living on Earth as we speak. And so this is a wonderful opportunity now for all of us to just unite in self-acceptance and acceptance of each other, no matter how we find ourselves, what we believe in. We respect, accept, and find the common joy that we all share. So thank you so much. It's been a joy, as always, to share the wisdom of the star codes with you. Have a lovely week, and I will be in touch again next week with a brand new episode of Star Codes. Lots of love.